So following on from my last video where I was talking about the Gangstalker that was in Barcelona, I just want to say I'm feeling very, very, very exhausted today, okay? They're really hitting me hard. There's some kind of low-level hum going on, and I keep having to put earplugs in because of that. But I don't know what it is. It doesn't feel like the regular ELF. But I just want to say that they're hitting me hard today. I've hardly done anything because of that. But I also want to say this. I could have redone that whole video and made it more punchy and perfect, and my strong feeling is that I'm just not going to do that. I think that well, I personally am sick to the back teeth of this rehearsed, you know, these ones that just, they say the same phrases at the beginning of their videos, and it's rehearsed and it follows a pattern almost. I mean, isn't this hypnotic? Okay, I mean, do we really want to step out of the frying pan into the fire? I don't think so. Isn't this what we're trying to get away from? Anyway, this is something I just feel very strongly inside, and I feel that whoever is going to want to listen to my videos, it's because they want something that's real and not rehearsed and not practiced, you know, and doesn't follow a set pattern, you know. And like in that video, something that I've just occurred to me can come out, you know. Anyway, I just wanted to say that if you know, there might be people who find the videos, you know, tedious, boring, that I'm waffling a lot. Well, then the videos aren't for them, are they? Right? This isn't a show. This is real, you know. I speak as if you are sitting here and you are my friend, and I'm telling you something that's real, okay? That's how I do this. So I stopped that video before because it was too long. It was getting too long. But there's some things that I missed out saying. Oh, yes. Okay, so my system that I was using that was working, I now realize why it was working. And that's because of the healing frequencies that I was using. And I want to share that information because that can help others who are in this situation, or who, you know, we're all, I don't want to say the words because, you know, the platform I'm on, I have to be quite careful with the words I use. But, you know, there are those towers that are up everywhere, and something to do with the number 5. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. We're all being hit with frequencies that are not what we would choose, even from our phones. Okay, so so I want to share this because this was actually helping me, and I now know that, yeah, the other, you know, walking outside in the sunshine's brilliant, of course it is. You know, talking to a good friend is good too. You know, it's all good. But I now know it was the frequencies that were helping with the depression. Okay? And so I want to talk about that. I was listening to binaural beats at that time, and also I was, what was this program called? Okay, you might have to Google it if you're interested, but the guy who ran this program was called Michael Mackenzie, I believe. I will, if I've got this wrong, I will come back and and correct it, okay? And I cannot remember what it was called, but he had a whole series of, well, the idea was that he took you in increments. I think it started at number 10, but the last one was number 1. That I remember, and they were recordings, and you had to listen to them, I think, for a month, or maybe it was more than a month, maybe 3 months or something. It was a long time you had to listen to each one so that your brain got used to it. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was supposed to take you to enlightenment. Okay. I really need to find the name of that. That was a long, long time ago now for me. But one of the recordings that I used to listen to, which wasn't in this system, but it was another one that he made, was called Gamma. And it was, I like that one very much. I just could feel a difference when I listened to it. And it was the gamma, like the alpha and the delta, brainwaves. This was gamma. Anyway, try searching and see if you can find Michael Mackenzie. I'm going to do it myself, and I'm going to maybe make a post about what that, if I can find the name of what that was, because I haven't even, obviously I haven't listened to it for a long time. I don't even know on what device I put those recordings. So, because the Gangstalkers destroy all my devices, okay? That's what's happening here. So I'm constantly having to get new ones, and goodness knows what's going to happen now, because I can't get new anything, I can't even get food, actually. But anyway, so what was the next? That was the most important thing that I had to say, that it was the frequencies, okay, that were working. And then I wanted to describe this perp. He was around, I would say, early 30s. He had black hair. He was overweight. And I don't know why the name Alex or Alejandro is coming into my mind, but I don't know if it's because he reminded me of another guy I know who is called Alejandro, and Alex for short, and I don't know, okay? But this guy had very black hair. I can't remember if he had facial hair or not, but very overweight, and around early 30s he was. And that was in Barcelona, and I can't remember even what language. Yeah, I don't know why, but those two things I feel were important. And you know what I also just wanted to mention? Right as I started that recording, not this one, but that one, right when I started that recording, my rooster started crowing. I mean, here it's absolutely quiet now. And they had been quiet all afternoon before that. Right in that moment when I turned on the... It's very horrible to have your privacy invaded to this extent, okay? It's just very horrible. And we need to find a way to make this stop, okay? There's people talking about neuro privacy rights and stuff like that. But, we have laws already in place, Our privacy is our privacy. And this is highly illegal. I don't know what we're going to do. I really don't know what we're going to do. But at least what I feel, and why I've been really, one of the reasons I started doing these videos is that if I can help people to recognize when they've been hijacked, when when they've been mind controlled, then it kind of, you know, there's nothing you can do about something if you don't even know, right? And I do believe there's many more people that are under mind control than those of us who actually know that we are. And it's a very horrifying thing. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that those of us who are having this experience and know that we are having this experience are kind of like I wouldn't say a guiding light because I don't know where I'm going, but at least I can share what my experience. At least I can share my experience and what has helped me. And that might help someone else. And I do think that just knowing that you're not the only one. Oh my goodness, that. I remember when that happened to me, when I realized I was a targeted individual and I wasn't the only one in the world who was being, you know, persecuted and tortured in this way, you know. On the other hand, it's very shocking and upsetting, you know, to realize there's so many people that are victims of this and nothing is being done about it. That's terrifying too. But somehow, at least if you're not alone, you know, it makes it feel better. But the fact is I am completely alone now, and this is what the Gangstalkers have done to me. You know, every time I think it can't get any worse, they make it worse. Okay? I don't know why, me personally, because other TIs are allowed to have friends, okay? Other TIs are allowed to have jobs. Whereas, you know, I've been completely isolated, ostracized, and vilified, I think is the word. Just totally hated. You know, I've been made an object of absolute hatred, even among TIs. I mean, that's another thing I'm going to have to talk about. How awful. But really, this isn't anything that any human being can survive, all right? It really isn't. It must never happen again, and it needs to be prosecuted. It needs to be investigated and prosecuted. And any suggestion that this is good for people in any way whatsoever is absolutely bonkers, okay? And I say that because this is what they seem to be suggesting. And this is what I'm telling you. This is what I was trying to say in the video. They are trying to, you know, bring about this whole idea that, you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and, you know, what's wrong. You know, it's this authoritarian personality. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know. It's the Nazi kind of way of thinking, okay? You know, young people these days, all they need is a bit of discipline, you know, that attitude. It's like that magnified by 1,000 and linked with pure evil. I mean, it's very frightening, okay? And it's completely the opposite way that humanity needs to go, because what we need is more kindness, okay? Louise Hay said this, you know, I can't remember her exact words, but what she was trying to say is it you know, it's not lack of money that's causing starvation in the world. It's lack of love and kindness, okay? And that is the truth. And to anyone listening to this, I just I recommend to anybody, read her book, Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. And again, this is going on too long.